right, this is Aaron Breitman back a little bit after the football loss, talking about Rutgers men's basketball, 83-49 win over Central Connecticut State on Saturday. Expected to win big. They did win big. I wrote in my preview that, really wanted to see this team active, come out with urgency, just play together, share the basketball, show intensity on defense. All of that happened. Yes, they're playing a sub 300 team, one of the worst teams in college basketball, but they dominated the way they need to. And through 6 games now, they're 5-1, 4 dominant wins over, poor teams that in a way that they didn't beat those teams last year. I've talked about before Iowa last year, really high in the net because they played a terrible non-conference schedule and they destroyed those teams. And that's what Rutgers is for the most part, doing so far. Yes, they lost to Temple. It was without McConnell and Mulcahy. McConnell makes his season debut today. Modest stats, 4 points, 4 rebounds. Did play 25 minutes, a little bit longer than I expected him to. I thought it'd be more like 20, 15. But it's great that he got a run going before the Miami game now coming up. Huge 5-game stretch. But Rutgers overall tonight shot really well. 54% from the field, 44% from 3, 77% from the foul line. Held Central Connecticut State to 32% shooting. 20-2 in fast break points advantage. Was also, what was the other one that was big? Not second chance points. Rutgers had 19 assists on 29 field goals. That was really good to see. There was another kind of advantage. I can't remember, but definitely fast break points, 22. That's significant. Rebounding. They dominated on the defensive boards, plus 14 on rebounding. Listen, Rutgers did what they're supposed to do. Cam Spencer, just again, Mr. Efficiency, 6 of 8 from the field, 4 of 6 from 3, 18 points, led the way, led with 5 assists, had 2 steals. Just, he's a complete player for this team. He's not just a shooter, and I'm really excited to see what he's going to do in this next 5-game stretch. I know there's some doubters still on whether he can do this against a high major competition. Again, I know it's his brother, but his brother just excelled at Northwestern. He, has toiled in the NBA and the G League, excelled in the G League, and was with Golden State in training camp. He's, he had no previous college basketball experience. This family is just wired. I mean, they are winners. They work really hard. Cam Spencer's a different breed. He really is. And I just can't believe that Rutgers has this guy for this year and next year. Fans are going to be really excited, I think, as they see him progress this next 5 games. I think he's really going to stand out. And, he's just been a big boon for this team, especially in the absence of Mulcahy. No word on him. They say game to game, it's a shoulder issue. Who knows? I don't think it's definite by any means he's going to play in Miami. I don't even think they know yet. Hopefully he's back sooner rather than later. But, I think having Cam Spencer certainly helps this team. Derek Simpson played pretty well tonight. Moat Mag was pretty consistent, 11 and 8. Antoine Wolford gave you more off the bench again, 9 and 4. Jalen Miller looked pretty good. He had 6 points tonight. Antonio Chol, ended the game, but he got his first 3-pointer. It's just everyone's contributing. Hyatt struggled from the field tonight. I'm trying to think if I'm missing anybody. Cliff was, solid, but kind of modest for Cliff. But, this next 5-game stretch is really big for him, not only on the offensive end and be dominant, but defensively. They need him to really step up and be the rim defender now. The whole team needs to step up. Of course, you're going at Miami, then you come home next Saturday, you host Indiana, who's number 10 in Ken Palm right now. Everyone's darling preseason favorite for the Big Ten. So that's going to be a monster week ahead. We don't know if Mulcahy's going to be there, but I think going into that stretch, you have to be happy with how Rutgers played this game in the last 2 games, really coming off the Temple loss. Again, they played a terrible 10 minutes against Temple, and they played well enough, I think, to win after that. I'm not saying they played great, but that second half they dominated, and it was a horrific shooting night. And it was their first time in 3.5 seasons that Paul Mulcahy wasn't on the floor. So I think that had something to do with it. From a net perspective, I think the way they're beating up on these teams is really going to help. Temple is not a bad loss. And now you get into the meteor schedule. So you have Miami, Indiana. Then you go at Ohio State, followed by Seton Hall 2 weeks from Sunday at home, and then Wake Forest before Christmas. You also have Bucknell right before Christmas. But it's a huge 2.5 weeks we're coming up on. It's exciting. I think this team is pretty good. Their Ken Palm right now is 34. Miami's actually only 47. They just lost to Maryland on a neutral court by 17 or 18. So it's going to be interesting. I think, the guards of Miami are certainly concerned. Nigel Pack, Isaiah Wong. But I think, inside Rutgers could have an advantage in this game. And I think they're just playing really well as a team. They're connected. They're showing maturity. I think they'll learn something from that Temple loss. And I expect them at a minimum to come out spirited on Wednesday at Miami. Rutgers won their last time down there. I know they're not happy about having to play there third time in like 7 years at Miami. So they're certainly going to want to come out and make a statement. I think that Temple game certainly, not that they wouldn't be motivated normally, but they know that, there's doubters out there because of that game. They have McConnell back now. I think defensively he's going to really be, huge in that game with Wong and Pack. Probably be on Wong, but we'll see. But it's a huge test. And then coming home with the rack. I mean, if Rutgers just can hold serve at home, win those games, Indiana, Seton Hall, Wake Forest, if you go 3-2 in this stretch, it would just be enormous. And I think they can. I think they could do better. They could obviously do worse. You can't go 1-4. I think 2-3, it's not fatal. Listen, nothing's fatal anymore, right? We know after last season, this team is never dead until they're truly dead in the coffin, 6 feet under. And even then, you have to wonder if they can come back. I know it's a different team, different chemistry. But I think they're just, I think the chemistry is really good. And I think it was, obviously winners last year and chemistry was there for them to make that historic run back from the dead, basically. But I think this team, we're going to learn a lot about them in the next 5 games, but I'm really optimistic and positive about them going into that stretch. And I thought they took care of business on a holiday weekend with, students not really there. And they came out and showed, poise and maturity. So lots to like and lots to discuss heading into this matchup against Miami. I'll have it all at thescarletfaithful.com. And thank you so much for watching and listening once again.